What I'm going to use is 4 eggs. These are large brown free-range eggs. I'm going to use the yolk out of just one of them, so 3 egg whites and 1 whole egg. For the filling, I'm going to use vegetables of onion, that's a Vidalia onion chopped up, and red pepper. You can save time by chopping this stuff up at night and then chopping up enough for maybe a day or two of omelets. I am going to use a little bit, that's a 1/4 cup, of fat-free cheese. And the reason I'm going to do that is not only for the taste, but to help it stick together better. That happens to be the Kraft fat-free cheddar. That 1/4 cup is about 45 calories. I'm going to use a Pam olive oil spray, but if you don't have the spray, you can use regular olive oil. Just make sure you only put a touch in just to cover the bottom so that it makes it a little bit more non-stick. And to season it today, I'm going to use just a tiny bit of feta cheese, crumbled, and ground chipotle chili seasoning. You can use whatever you want in your filling to whatever your taste is, but just make sure it's a healthy version of something. Feta is not the healthiest thing, but I'm just going to use a tiny bit of it. And of course, whatever vegetables. I like sometimes to use mushrooms in my omelets, and I'm pretty plain. It's usually onions, peppers, mushrooms, and some variation of that. But you can try all different sort of vegetables. So the good thing about my kitchen island is that my garbage can is in a cabinet underneath where I prepare my food. So I'm just going to crack the eggs, get the egg whites out of it, and throw the eggshell and the yolk into the garbage right below. So just in case you see me throwing things down, you know that's in the garbage. So you just get a little crack in it, break it in half, and then just get the yolk going from side to side, trying to get all of the whites out. And on the last one, put the whole thing in there. Now I'm just going to put a dash of fat-free milk in there. I don't even count that in the recipe, it's so tiny. And just get a fork. Just mix it up with the milk. And that's that. Okay, so I have 2 pans on my stove, non-stick frying pans. They're pretty small. You can see that this is what I use for my omelet pans. I'm not sure of the size, but they're both about the same. This one on the right I have on low, that'll be for the eggs, and this one will be for the vegetables, to sort of saute them as a filling. So since this is going to take a while to cook on low, just pour the egg mixture into the pan that's set on low and leave that set. Now you're going to want to put your vegetables, and I hope I do this okay with one hand. Okay, good enough. And the onion. And then you're just going to want to cook that until they're nice and soft. While the vegetables are cooking, you want to keep an eye on your egg and just sort of see the end when you can pull it back a little bit like this in several of the sections. Then you're going to want to pull it back and tilt the pan, which is very hard for me to do while I'm holding the camera. I need a third arm, but I think you can get the idea, so that this liquid runs over to the edge and cooks so that liquid is not in the middle. Okay, so you can see that the vegetables are starting to get soft and the onions are getting translucent looking and a little brown, so I'm ready to add the seasoning into that. I've measured out not quite a tablespoon of feta cheese. I just want the flavoring in it. So I'm going to sprinkle that around in it. Okay, we'll mix that up. And the chipotle seasoning, I just put a, oops, just spilled it. Just put a pinch. No, it's less than a pinch. I'll make up for that with a little sprinkling in there. And just mix it up. Now my egg's pretty much set, and if you don't mind runny middle, you don't have to do this next step, but I like mine to be kind of not runny at all. So I just flip it over, and then I spread my cheddar cheese or mozzarella, part skim mozzarella, whatever you have. Remember, you only need a little bit of this. I don't even really need this whole quarter cup. It's really just to make it stick better together. And then I'm just going to take the filling and put it on half of the omelet. You get the idea. I can't get the whole thing in there. But I will put the rest of that on top of the omelet. And then all I'm going to do is fold this side over to that side and hold it there for a couple seconds. And you can see the cheese is sort of gluing it together. And the last step is to put it on the plates and put any more of the vegetable that you weren't able to fit in the middle on top of it. Then you can add a little bit more chipotle seasoning on top of it, or whatever seasoning you used.
Enjoy!